Villanueva's wide open. It's Passerelle, 5 and 29 away from a date with UAAP. Allow you better, let's see what happens in the remaining time after the Samson timeout. With Samson, it's not that hard to measure.
Good afternoon to all of you. This is Coach Francis and welcome to episode 4 of Sunday Shootout, your Sunday afternoon kwentuhan with ordinary people doing extraordinary work. For this afternoon, we have a Filipino former PBA player drafted 13th overall pick of the 2008 PBA draft by the Air 21 Express, a 4-time UAAP champion, and a finals MVP for season 70. Currently, he is the head coach for the DLSU Lady Archers team for the UAAP, an associate head coach for Pampanga Lanterns of MPBL, and the former MPBL head coach for Makati Super Crunch. Former PBA associate head coach for Global Port, Shapinas, and Air 21. In the scholastics, he was a guidance counselor for an international school in Makati, the program head for basketball in Beacon School and DLSU Laguna. He is the founder of the fast-rising and fast-expanding Cholo Camp training program for several schools in Metro Manila, Calabarzon, and Bulacan. He is a double degree holder in psych and early childhood education. Ladies and gentlemen, netizens from around the world, join me as we welcome Coach Cholo Villanueva. Coach Cholo, kumusta?
Okay naman, Coach Francis. Thank you for having me.
Kumusta ang transition mo from COVID-19 lockdown to GCQ? How are you doing, Coach?
It's been a challenge at first, pero again, anything that naman you're doing, you need to adapt. So all the things that I've been doing, practices, camps, managing my programs, everything's online. So may positive effects din coming with the negative things that happened. Pero again, you just need to adapt dun sa new normal eh. So I'm doing fine naman.
Family members, loved ones, they're all healthy and safe?
It's a blessing na after 3 to 4 months na we're in quarantine, wala pa naman akong relatives or family members na nagkaroon ng sickness. So, in spite of all the things, I'm still blessed sa mga nangyayari.
I hope it stays that way. Coach Cholo, before the pandemic, I witnessed it personally. You had several coaching gigs. Para sa mga nanonood, no, guys, alam niyo yung sinasabing ball is life. Huwag na kayo tumingin sa iba. Itong kausap ko, itong ball is life. Okay? Coach, can you describe what your day is like? Having many coaching gigs and programs.
Usually, an ordinary day for me, for example, I wake up na mga 4:30 a.m. and then go to La Salle about until mga 5:45 ganyan, and then I have practice at 6 a.m. and then I finish about mga 9 a.m. and then I have a MPBL team nag-start siya ng 10 a.m. So from La Salle going to Shaw Boulevard. It takes an hour, so 10 a.m. ako nandun. And then about 10 a.m. to 12:30, I have practice with my MPBL team. And then pagdating ng mga 2 o'clock, I go to Beacon International School if I have practice there. And then I finish about mga 4 o'clock in Beacon.
A few moments later.
Or 5 o'clock. And then I go to my school in De La Salle, Laguna to check out the practices there. Medyo matagal yung travel time from Taguig to Laguna sa may Santa Rosa. And then I monitor my practices with my coaches there. And then I end up about mga 8 o'clock. And then I go home from Laguna to Merville, moonwalk, about 10 o'clock. And then I eat dinner, then I sleep. And then ulit-ulit for the next day.
Oh, sabi sa inyo, bonus life eh. Coach, just listening to your schedule for a day, parang napagod ako. Kailangan ko na second wind.
Never for me. Sa akin naman, sa akin, basketball is not work. So, doing it may iba, they're working for 8 hours and then they're just on a desk and doing whatever work they can. Pero ako, I have no, wala akong reklamo kasi everything's basketball. So, hindi siya work when I go to, quote-unquote work. Pero sa akin, if it's basketball, it's not work.
Coach, where do you get the energy from doing all this?
Ako kasi, I came from a family of teachers.
Oh.
So yung mom ko is a principal before in her school. Until now, she's teaching. She's a trainer sa Sharp Carilagan for mga personality development or English fluency para sa mga seamen. So, teacher talaga yung family ko eh. So ako, I get my energy from my students, seeing them every day, teaching them, and them improving. When I'm with them, yun yung energy na nakukuha ko. So hindi ako nawawala ng energy to do that eh.
Alright. Okay. So you get your energy from your students, from your players, and that you have a good background when it comes to teaching. Diba? Meron ka bang sikreto for running all these programs and teams at a very successful and competitive level? Kung gusto mong i-share yung sikreto mo.
Ako, same thing when I was a student athlete. For example, when I'm in school lang iniisip ko. When I'm in practice, basketball lang yung iniisip ko. And then after basketball, whatever paperwork or kung ano mang projects kailangan gawin, yun ang iniisip ko. So same thing, I apply it to my programs and my practices. When I'm with the lady archers, I'm just thinking about sila. I'm not thinking about the MPBL or thinking about my or Beacon or my other programs. I'm just focused on them. Tapos pag punta na ako sa MPBL, I forget about naman what happened in my lady archers practice. I focus on kung ano yung kailangan namin dun sa practice na yun. So in short, parang whatever the task at hand is, dun ako nakafocus. Hindi ako nag-iisip ng other things when I'm in that school or program. So I think it's been working for me since college. So until now, ganun pa rin yung ginagawa ko.
So, ang sikreto ni Coach Cholo, focus. Sige, saan ba nakakabili nun? Alright, thank you for that, Coach. Gusto ko nga mag-dwell a bit on you being a coach. How did you get into coaching? When did you start? Where did you start?
Ako, siguro I started when I was a veteran player for La Salle. I was one of the co-captains sa team na yun. So doon medyo nakikita ko na I know the system kasi I've been there for the longest time din eh. Tagal na ako sa sistema na yun. And guiding my teammates there, medyo I know na alam ko na yung sistemang ginagawa eh. But pero it didn't hit me na I was gonna coach. Hindi ko, kasi I was thinking then after I graduated, I will be in school. Hindi coaching eh. So, ang nangyari noon when we were in one of the championship parties ng La Salle, si Coach Franz and yung sa kong teammate si PJ Walsham, we were joking na coach, punta daw si Cholo sa practice. Siya na lang daw mag-coach doon, ganyan. So, and then from there, parang sinabi ni Coach Franz, gusto mo ba? Gusto mo mag-coach? O sige, punta doon sa practice bukas, ganyan. So, I started with the Team B muna when he said na I'd coach yung Team B. Tapos from then on, ayun na, I started my coaching journey na from that 2008. Tapos ang nangyari noon, nag-beg off din ako sa kanya kasi sabi ko, Coach, focus muna ako dun sa PBA kasi na-draft ako eh. So I focus muna playing. Pero eventually, si Tyrone Bautista called me up. And si Coach Franz also, na sabi niya, gusto mo pumunta ka muna sa mga practices kahit hindi everyday. Kasi they wanted me to help out dun sa Lady Archers. I was an assistant coach there. Then, when I started after yung Team B stint ko with Coach Franz, and then from twice a week, tapos 3 times a week, juggling yung playing basketball and also yung coaching, that started my journey until now. So, siguro mga na ako 2008, mga 12, matagal-tagal na yun, mga 12 years.
Well, isang dekada na, Coach.
Oo, lampas na.
Sino yung mga nahawakan mo sa Team B? I didn't know that you started with the men's Team B.
Oh, I actually coached sila, Dan Sara, Mac Talio.
These guys made it to Team A?
Si Dan Sara went to San Beda.
Okay.
Tapos he played in the PBA, Colombian team.
Okay.
Mac Talio, coach also. I coached him also. Then he played with NLEX then. Pero eventually, he came back to yung si Safi na
Cebu.
na team niya.
Uh-huh.
Sino ba? Like sila Papat Paredes, yung mga yan, Norbert Torres.
Okay.
They started out with the Team B because of residency. Tapos, yun, I started out with them.
All right. Obviously, Coach Franz gave you the break. And I think you would consider him as one of your mentors and influences in coaching. Tama ba?
Oo naman.
Sige, Coach, tuloy mo lang.
Okay, so he's one of the biggest influences dun sa coaching career ko. Because I have an idea of what organized basketball is. Kasi coming from Coach Ricky Sales, and then eventually came to La Salle. Doon ko talaga nalaman yung the terminologies of coaching, like what are down screens or back picks or ano ba yung ball side, yung mga ganon. So I owe a lot to him kasi I started out with him and he gave me my first break as a coach.
Can you describe Coach Franz Pumaren? Kaming mga outsiders ng PBA at UAAP fans, kilalang-kilala ang sistema niya for discipline at lalong-lalo na ang trap niya at ninyo. Isang hindi ko alam kung nakasabay mo si Joseph yo, Coach.
Nakasabay ko siya.
Na-interview siya sa isang iiyak daw lahat ng kalaban nyo
Oo.
sa
Oo.
trap nyo eh, no?
Oo. Ano kami yung mga practices namin were very, very hard. It's the most intense practices that I experienced ever since high school or until when I went to the pros. Those 3 hours of practices, yung competition doon, the way we run, meron nga kaming, naglolokohan nga kami magti-teammates na yung paa namin, hindi na nag-iisip, tumatakbo na lang ng tumatakbo.
Automatic, no?
Oo, so
Motor movement, yes, yes.
sobrang in shape or sobrang kondisyon namin. Pero the practices there, it doesn't just reach you physically. Most of the time, it's more on mental toughness. When you're there, hindi ka pwedeng umayaw. You can't quit. If you quit, mas lalong hihirap. So it became evident pagdating ng games. Practices was so hard, and then when game time came, it was a breeze for us. Parang mas madali talaga yung games kumpara dun sa mga practices. So all the work that we put in, those grueling hours na 3-hour practices, and then we have at least mga 2 hours of weights every day, each and every day for 365 days for mga 5 to 6 years.
Sa'yo, no? 5 years ka, di ba?
Oo, ibang klase.
Whoa. So, is he more a father to you or a brother?
Si Coach Franz is more of a father to me, my second father. Kasi nga, I lost my father early in my early years. And then eventually, he became a father figure to me. He became my mentor also. Hindi siya yung makikipag-usap sa'yo that much. Parang, parang parang chummy-chummy kayo.
Hindi ganon.
Medyo, there's a certain distance with him, pero you know na he cares for you, na you know na parang alam niya, he wants a good direction for you. Pero even though he doesn't show it that much, you know na yung care, he has genuine care for you and unconditional love dun sa players niya eh. So he became my mentor talaga. Even up to now, I still ask him things na if I have problems with these kinds of scenarios or kung ano man, he's still there to guide me.
Nice. Kanina may nabanggit kang isang coach, no? Ricky Sales. Sino si Coach Ricky Sales sa'yo as a coach? Sino siya, Coach? Did he play a role sa'yo sa pagiging coach mo or pagiging player?
Siguro for me, he became a big influence for being a player. Kasi he's really the one who gave me the confidence that I can compete with a higher level. He was my coach here dito sa Villages, yung gold team namin. Doon ko first experienced yung organized basketball, organized practices, having a system. Doon ko unang nakita talaga yun eh. And he became a big influence for me kasi he gave me all the confidence that I can have when I was playing for him. He was more of a brother type na you can say anything to him. He'll guide you. He'll help you. Pero you still know na he wants the best for you. Yung confidence na binigay niya sa akin paved the way for me to really break out dun sa game na pwede kong ipakita eh. So he became a very big influence in my career.
Alright. As a player, ilang coaches ang pinaglaruan mo?
I played for Coach Franz in college sa UAAP. And then I played for Ariel Vanguardia in the PBL for the Toyota team.
Okay.
Kasi nung nasa PBL din ako, I played for Coach Franz for ICTSI.
Yes.
And then when I was in the pros, I played for Coach Perasol yung first few conferences ko.
Ng Air 21, ano?
Air 21. And then si Yeng Guiao. I played for him also for Air 21 on my last few conferences with Air 21.
Oh, naging player ka rin pala ni Coach Yeng. Coach, ang bibigat ng coaches mo, ha? Coach Ariel, how was he to you as a coach?
I learned a lot of things from the different coaches na I played for. Si Coach Ariel is more of a quick hit guy. So yung mga offensive plays na, he's more of an offensive coach for me. He has a lot of quick hit plays na when you come off, there's a certain option na gusto niya. It's more free-flowing yung offense niya. Yun. Tapos the other coaches that I played for, si Coach Franz, obviously, my defensive system came from him. He's very keen on playing defense, pressure defense, on defensive rotations, how to cover a ball screen, how to cover a post-up play. And then si Coach Bo for me naman, he's more of dun ko nakita yung in the pros, it's more of people management. Dahil meron na silang certain talents that they that they have. And then you're just there para ma-manage yung chemistry nila or how they would play together, set a direction for them. Doon naman magaling si Coach Bo. Si Coach Yeng, yung intensity niya, his leadership, his no-nonsense approach to the game. And then yung bringing out the best in his players, meron akong natatandaan na when I was playing for him, siguro nagmintis na ako ng mga 5 or 6 shots in a row na straight. Pero sabi pa rin niya, minura pa niya ako eh. Minura niya ako, sabi niya, hindi ko pwede sabihin.
Yeah. Blank.
Sabi niya, blank. Kapag hindi ka tumira ng susunod na tira, ilalabas na kita eh. So, ako naman, eventually, I got my rhythm. So, I think that worked for me. So, yung mga ganun motivational ni Coach Yeng, it was big for me when I was playing in the pros. And also, si Coach Yeng he's more of an offensive coach then. Meaning, yung reading of certain movements towards a defense in certain actions, doon ko naman natutunan sa kanya yung very open-minded yung players, meaning kailangan you can read defenses by yourself. Hindi ko isusubo sa inyo kung ano yung dapat yung gawin. Kaya if you watch his players in Rain or Shine or NLEX, makita mo mahihilig sila magbasa ng sitwasyon eh. Yun naman yung natutunan ko sa kanya.
What would you say nakuha mo ang mga positives ng mga naging coaches mo?
Ako naman I copy the things that I think na is in my identity. And then I don't do the things na I think that I don't do myself.
Out of character, no? Tama.
So very important yun when you're coaching eh. Hindi mo pwede ituro ang isang bagay na hindi mo kayang gawin eh. So,
correct.
Ako lang yung mga kaya kong gawin within my identity. And then that's what I apply in my system na ginagamit ko ngayon.
Something that is doable for you, no? That you really believe in. Hindi pwedeng Gusto ko yung sistema yun akin. Hindi pala ba?
Hindi pwede yun.
Tama.
Kahit naman sino kausap mo, if players or not players, if you're talking about something na you don't understand, na parang minsan daldal ka ng daldal na hindi mo naman naiintindihan, masisense yun ng kausap mo eh.
Yes,
So,
correct.
your credibility goes out of the window pag gano'n na nangyari.
And for coaches, coach, isa sa importanteng meron kanyan, credibility, di ba?
Pinaka-importante. Halos pinaka-importante yan.
Correct. Coach, iba't ibang levels ka na nakapag-coach eh. And ang alam ko, you have coached in the elementary, high school boys, college team, semi-pro. More than 12 years ka na nagko-coach. Sa college, women's, ano? Pero may men's ka rin.
Meron din. Before, yun, I was part of Coach Franz's staff sa La Salle. And then I coached also in JRU, NCAA, for about 4 or 5 years. And then sa high school naman, I handled St. Jude, in Chonglian.
Okay.
May Chonglian League before. I handled that team also. And then yung mga grade school clubs in CSA or in La Salle, Laguna, I handled them. So, yun yung mga grade school and high school na teams na hinahawakan ko. And also Beacon International School, yung 14 and under.
Alright. Let's get into the developmental level of basketball. Para sa mga audience natin na nanonood now, Cholo Camp is one of the basketball training program in the Philippines that teaches all age groups. Pati adult meron. And I was fortunate, lucky enough to have been part of it for 2 Saturdays. I've even brought my sons there. And I remember Coach telling you this after those 2 Saturdays, no? Coach, sa dami ng mga camps na napanood ko, napuntahan. Itong Cholo Camp, tinuturo talaga yung detalye sa mga bata. And having said these things, Coach, how would you compare the competitiveness of our developmental program here sa Pilipinas in terms of coaching first?
Sa akin, in terms of developmental here in the Philippines, there are a lot of camps na nagde-develop ng as young as mga 4 years old to develop their skills in basketball. So I think we're going into the right direction naman. We're becoming competitive in the world stage. It takes time talaga. It takes time on how to develop our young athletes towards really the dream of competing at a higher stage dun sa world stage. Pero for me, ako at the start, it's not about basketball skills sa akin. It starts with the right character. Kaya nga I always tell the parents that join my camp, especially at an early age, yung mga 3 years old, 4 years old patas, we're not really developing skills at the start. First is we're developing the love for the game. And then next is yung following instructions. So pag pumito si coach, kung kaya ba niyang pumila, or if sinabi na share a ball, could he or she share a ball? Those simple things. For example, if coach says na to keep quiet, if they're gonna follow. So at an early stage, yun muna yung talagang nakafocus yung camps ko . And then eventually, when you become mga 5-year-old or 6 years old and up, then the motor skills start to be strong. Doon medyo skill-based na yung pagtuturo.
Says the coach na may background sa educational psychology at early childhood. Saan pa? This reasoning of yours, coach, resonates with me . So parang I totally agree with your foundations for
Mhm.
running your company. No?
Uh,
Um, ang daming program dito sa atin. DepEd Sports Competitions, SBP, MISA, LSMS, NNBL, Lions Cup, Interscholastics. How do you compare the current situation with your vision for sa age groups, sa rules, frequency, availability of players, program types, varsity programs, etc. May positives lahat yan eh. At syempre may negatives din. Ano yung comparison mo pagdating dyan sa mga ganyang sitwasyon?
um, like for me, it's a good experience for the kids to join different leagues. It's good exposure for them. Where it boils down to the teachers pa rin eh, who are the coaches, um, who are going to teach these kids to create the right values, not just on a basketball court, even sa labas. Um, so we really need to educate the coaches to be teachers. Hindi lang, ano eh, I always tell na hindi porket magaling ka mag-basketball, magaling kang coach eh. So hindi porket you were one of the star players before, you're a very good coach. Hindi eh. Being a teacher is a different animal, different entity. Playing basketball and being good at it is a different entity also. So it's educating the teachers first, the coaches first, and then it's a good thing that we have these kinds of platforms na could expose kids to different scenarios that I think na will also happen in real life. Na, for example, having pressure in a game, pressure is always going to be there in the outside world. Um, for example, running a sprint and not touching a line. Ibig sabihin, nag-shortcut yung bata. So baka in real life, mag-shortcut din siya. And, yung mga small things like those, kailangan na natuturo ng coaches yan, and the right values na tamang ma-develop in an early age, especially in the grade school and high school stages. Sa akin nga, it's more of yung mga college and pro coach are important, syempre. Pero I think what's more important for me is yung mga grade school and high school coaches. Kasi these are the ones who are developing them in the developmental stages of their lives, yung mga bata. So they play a very crucial part dun sa development ng bata kung anong klaseng tao magiging sila in the future. Eh. So I salute these kinds of coaches because they're one of the biggest influences dun sa mga buhay ng mga bata. Eh.
Nice one, Coach. Coach, ito madalas ko ma-encounter and I'm sure you do too. Having played in several levels in Philippine basketball, reaching the peak at playing in the PBA and champion sa UAAP at season finals MVP, no?
Uh, uh,
Grabe naman yan, Coach. Ano ang may papayo mo sa mga youth players natin na nangangarap maglaro sa college and eventually PBA?
For me, everything goes through hard work. There are no shortcuts to anything. If you want to achieve your goals, everything goes through hard work. You can't get it overnight. It takes delayed gratification. It takes creating good habits. And then eventually, if you put in the work, eventually your goals, you will achieve your goals. Kahit ano pa yan. Even if it's not the PBA or whatever, in real life, all for me, everything goes through hard work. And yun lang lagi is the formula on achieving your goals.
Well said, Coach. So, moving on to you being a player. Kailan ka nagsimula mag-basketball, Coach? At saan?
I started playing basketball medyo late na when I was in grade 4.
Oh, okay.
So natuto lang ako on the streets dito
Mhm.
sa village namin. Kalaban mga tricycle drivers, mga dumadayo. I have a set of friends here na tawag sa amin yung Avians team na talagang I learned a lot playing on the streets with them, learning with them. Even until now, we're lifelong friends. Wala, sakali lang talaga ako natuto. I didn't join Milo Best or kung ano mang camps before eh. Kasi yung mom ko nga sa teacher, so hindi siya hindi siya sports inclined.
Mag-aaral ka. Gawin mo
Oo,
yung assignment mo.
oo, ganun. Ganun yung mom ko eh. Tapos yun nga, eventually, I just saw mga moves. Yung mga Euro step na yan, dito ko lang nakita yung mga yung mga different finishes, mga floaters, ganyan, jump shots. I just saw them from my elders here dito kung saan ako naglalaro, and then I just copied them. Of course, Michael Jordan is one of my biggest influences na mga VHS pa dati.
Oo.
Tapos ginagaya ko lang yung moves, and then eventually magagawa ko na. Tapos I'll copy other moves ulit. Ganun lang before eh.
Okay. Eh, how did you get into organized basketball? If you just told me now na sa streets ka naglalaro, how did you get into may referee, may
Yun.
kakampi ka, may coach?
Of course, yung mga summer leagues before, very excited kami dyan. Pagpatapos na yung school year, excited na kami kasi puro basketball na lang, wala nang aral eh.
Coach,
So,
andyan yung mga papasukat na tayo ng jersey. Uy, hindi
Oo,
na.
diba?
Naalala mo yung coach?
Oo, yun yung mga exciting times pagka medyo
Okay, no?
pang-March na. Tapos usap-usap na kayo ng friends nyo, o pasukat na tayo,
Diba?
gawa na tayo uniform.
Design.
Design. Dati ano lang eh, isa lang ang gumagawa ng uniforms, botak lang ang
Botak
gumagawa.
lang.
So, excited kami dati. And then, yun nga, I really parang experience lang yung organized basketball with Coach Ricky Sales eh. So,
Okay.
pero before that, before I was with him, dito lang, ako ang pinakabata dito sa amin na sumasali sa mga matatanda dati. And then playing every day, where for example, Saturday, unang umaga, nandiyan na ako sa court. And then uuwi lang ako, magla-lunch lang ako, then babalik na ako sa court until mga 5 o'clock pagka may ilaw pa. Tapos pag wala nang ilaw, tsaka lang ako uuwi.
Anong sabi ni ni Teacher Mami?
Saturday, wala eh.
Okay.
Sunday, wala. So,
Okay.
pipilit ko matapos yung mga assignments ko for Monday ng Friday ng gabi.
Wow.
Pero pagdating ng Saturday, lalaro na kami. And then Sunday, bawal lang ako ng Sunday na hanggang mga 6 o'clock. So mga hanggang 4 o'clock lang. Kailangan ko na umuwi kasi may class na kinabukasan. Pero yung ballist life na sinasabi, yun na yung ginagawa ko dati. Talagang it's all basketball for me, playing on the streets even from before.
Coach, sabi mo late ka na nag-basketball. About grade 5, grade 6. Naging varsity ka ba ng high school?
Naging varsity ako, grade school pa rin.
Okay.
Mga grade 5. Midgets team sa San Agustin. Siguro ako yung pinaka-last na nasa bench lagi. Hindi ako napagaro. Kasi nga, ang liit ko nun eh. I was about 4'11 lang. Very small, ganyan. Tapos, grade school hanggang high school, naging varsity naman ako sa CSA. So, pero I was really serious about playing pagdating nung high school na ako.
Okay. Ano yung mga liga ng CSA, Coach, nung time mo?
Nung time namin, we had Paya. Meron kami yung Passerelle. Actually, yung Passerelle talaga yung nagbigay sa akin ng break kasi dati, ang rules ng Passerelle, I don't know now, pero dati, it was 5-5-5.
Yes. Until now, it is.
Ganun. Okay, so yung first 3 quarters,
Yes.
uh, 5 guys, and then yung last quarter, pwede na mag-sub in kahit sino.
Yes.
So, before nga, I wasn't, yung coach ko doon
May
was,
playing time ka.
yung coach ko before, parang didn't trust me enough na pumasok ako sa game. Pero nung force siya na papasukin ako dahil 5-5-5 yung liga, ayun, doon ko nakuha yung timing ko sa laro, doon ko nakuha na I can play in this kind of level. So eventually, nabigyan ako ng confidence after that. Tapos, we have one of the biggest leagues siguro, yung Nike 3-on-3.
Aha.
Yung time na yun, meron ganong liga eh. So, that gave me one of my breaks in high school.
Anong nangyari sa 3-on-3, coach?
Nung Nike 3-on-3, we had an elimination round. Kailangan manalo ka sa NCR para to represent NCR in the regional finals, and then play the different provinces pagdating ng regional finals. Tapos doon, may mga scouts na nanonood doon eh. Play there, mga 3rd year high school ako and 4th year. Doon medyo nanonood na yung mga scouts ng schools. And then doon medyo naririnig na yung pangalan ko doon.
Nag-champion kayo dyan, di ba? Anong taon yung Nike 3-on-3 na yan?
Hindi ko naman.
Mga 3 years ago. But you were champions, no? Sino nakalaban niyo sa championship?
Nakalaban namin noon sila Ronje Enrile from Letran, yung San Beda Boys, sila Magnum Membrere, sila Toti Almeda, yun. Yun yung mga big names ng high school ako eh. So kami naman, coming from a small program, yung CSA, we weren't known for our basketball program. CSA was more of a football school rather than
naman. So that 3-on-3 championship opened college basketball for you. And naglaro ka sa Lasal.
Oo.
Jersey sa likod, ayan, mga manonood, Lasal number 9, white and green, Villanueva. Coach, ilang taon kang nag-champion sa Lasal?
Nag-champion ako when I was in 2001, yung last of the 4-peat. And then 2004, on the court, we were champions, pero nagkaroon ng technicality.
Alright.
So, 2007, we won the championship also. In 2006, we were suspended noon, pero we won the championship sa PhilOil 2006.
Okay.
So,
sa UAAP lang kayo hindi nakalaro?
Oo, UAAP lang.
Pero other leagues pwede?
Yun yung first PhilOil tournament in 2006.
Yan ba yung pumalit sa Father Martins? You're not sure?
Hindi. Meron pa rin Father Martins.
Anong time na yan?
Meron pa rin.
Coach, memorable game?
Ako
para sa'yo. As a player, ha?
As a player, my most memorable game, I think, dalawa eh. One of the most memorable games for me is yung Ateneo-La Salle 2007. We had mga 5 Ateneo-La Salles din eh. Kasi we were suspended noong 2006, so walang Ateneo-La Salle. And then pagdating ng 2007, we had 2 elimination round games. Tapos we fought for placing yung pangatlong game. And then yung 4th game, we lost twice to beat kami. We lost to Ateneo. And then yung last game, the 5th game, was a do or die for the championship. So yun yung biggest crowd na nilaruan ko. I think it was mga 25,000-26,000 people there.
Saan to, Araneta?
Araneta, oo. Tapos playing in my last year for La Salle, Ang dami kong Ateneo-La Salle games, so very memorable lahat yon. But this one was special kasi it was clinching yung finals berth. And then I also became the best player nung time na yon.
Okay. Coach, ito ba yung game na yan na talo uwi?
Oo, talo uwi. Oo, talo uwi.
Okay.
So
Tapos,
yun, we won the game. Nagbaw pa ako nun sa nagbaw ako nun sa La Salle crowd and then Ateneo crowd. Parang just to show respect na playing in this kind of environment for the past few years. And then another memorable game for me is yung last game namin, winning the championship against yung UE, who was 8-0 back then. And then we won against them 2 games. Yung second game ko, we won the championship. And I was also the best player. Doon nga ako nag finals MVP with JV Casio. And graduating in my degrees, and then winning a championship. Parang if you're going to watch, yung YouTube video na yun, talagang umiiyak ako kasi I was very emotional. I was injured kasi for most of the time in La Salle. First year ko, I was injured. I had an ACL tear nung first year ko in La Salle, and then second year I was injured also with a high ankle sprain na gutted me out of the season also. Pagdating naman ng 2003, I got suspended from the team kasi medyo masipag ako mag-aral nun When I had low grades, sinuspend ako ni Coach Franz.
For an entire season?
For an entire season. That was the rookie season of JV Casio, Brian Aranya, yung mga time na yun And in 2004 until 2007, I got my double degree na nun. And then started playing consistently from then on. Kaya nag-flashback sa akin lahat yung memories na yun nung last game ko. So that's why I was very emotional on that last game na parang nalampasan ko lahat yun and eventually achieved yung goal ko, which is graduating, getting a diploma for my mom and for me, and then winning a championship for La Salle na supported me all the way throughout my college days.
Coach, ang position mo, 2 o 3?
Actually, I started with La Salle as a point guard
Okay.
Si Coach Franz kasi is very good at developing mga combo guards. So meaning, you can play 1, 2, 3 position. Kailangan you play that consistently. Pero when I was in high school, I really played point guard. Tapos, nangyari, coming in si JV Casio and si TY Tang were smaller than me. Sila yung green room na to be the point kasi medyo smaller sila sa akin And then Coach Franz really shifted me to being a 2 or 3 guard. So, pero there were times na, especially in the 2004 season, bago pa lang si TY and bago pa lang si JV, I would go into doing the point guard chores, especially pagka, for example, big guards yung kalaban. That time, if you had Denok Miranda, may mga big guards like sila Cortez from UST. So sometimes, I would go to the point guard position, pero towards the end of my career sa La Salle, more of a scorer, more of a defensive stopper.
Sino ang suki mo sa depensa?
Suki sa depensa? Di ko ko or
yung gustong-gusto mong dinidepensahan kasi you've got his numbers. Pupunta lang to sa kanan. Dito lang to. Yung mga gano'n.
Actually, there's no one particular player. Pero I always took pride na kung sino yung scorer sa other team. I would look at their averages and then for that particular game, dapat hindi siya mag-average. You should be lower than his average. So, every time na na meron na I would be guarding somebody at 2 guard or 3 guard na scorer, I would look at their averages and then sasabihin ko kailangan they would be below average pag ako yung nakatapat nila. So, yan. Yan lang ginagawa.
Safe answer, Coach, ha? Sino yung ayaw mong dumidepensa sa'yo nung naglalaro ka?
Ayokong dumidepensa. I didn't want yung mga guards na maliliit na mahilig mag-pressure. Like sila. Yung UE kasi, they're very known for that. Parang same system sila with us eh. So, yung time na yun, siguro sila Rob Labagala, yung mga Sagitel.
Abot pala kayo.
Yung mga smaller guards, yung mga pesky guards na smaller.
Ano yung, why? Is it nakakailang mag-dribble sa harap nila?
Oo, kasi medyo matangkad ako eh, for a guard.
Mataas ang bola sa'yo, no?
Mataas yung bola eh. So, I really needed to stay low para maprotektahan ko yung bola.
And that slows you down.
Pero pagka malalaking guards, mas gusto ko kasi first, I'm as quick as them.
Yes.
Tapos hindi sila ganun ka really quick to pressure the ball. Yes. So mas madali silang kalaban eh. Pero I didn't like mga smaller guards kasi they are quicker tapos kayang mag-pressure ng bola. So most of the time, I end up na pinoposya naman nilang sila kasi pag ganun, patayo-tayo ka lang eh. Tapos just turn and shoot. So, mas madali.
Okay. Coach, question on GOAT. Ito, naalala ko nagkwentuhan tayo about the GOAT.
Okay.
Sino ang GOAT para sa'yo? Ang pinag-uusapan lang naman lagi sa GOAT, Jordan, LeBron, meron pa ba dun sa conversation na yun? LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan for me.
Why?
I've always been a Jordan fan. For me, si Michael Jordan is the GOAT, not just because of his talent or his skills, but more of he has a winning mentality. Every time you play with him or you play against him in the finals, hindi pwedeng hindi magcha-champion si MJ. So being a winner for me is a true testament of being the greatest player. So in the debate na Michael Jordan or LeBron James is a great player, pero wala siya nung killer instinct for me. And that's very important to be named as one of the greatest players of all time. Having that killer instinct, parang same thing as with Kobe Bryant, may cutthroat na attitude. They don't care kung sinong nasa harap nila. All they care about is competing and winning. So sa akin MJ talaga yung the greatest of all time.
I was about to add some more flavors into that question. Ang sabi ko, Jordan, LeBron. But you chose Jordan. Where does that, where do you place Kobe?
Yun, si Kobe. I think he's next to Jordan. Kasi he's the nearest thing na closest thing to Jordan's mentality, Jordan's skills. Si LeBron kasi he's not a scorer. He's more of a facilitator. That's why he makes the right plays. Yun naman talaga yung kay LeBron. Pero coming down the stretch, choosing from LeBron, MJ, Kobe, mas gusto ko kakampi si Kobe at si MJ. Kasi they would take that last shot. Kahit ilan yung tao sa harap nila. They would take that with confidence and that you have a big chance of winning the game with them.
That shot, Coach, First five. All-time first five for you. All-time first five. If kinuha ka, coach, throughout history, bigyan mo ako ng first five. Let's start with, gusto ko mag-start ka sa center pababa. I mean, it's positionless basketball now, but traditionally, for the sake of this conversation, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you still have to give me your sixth man.
Ako, center, Bill Russell.
Why?
Bill Russell kasi he plays a role in the team. He does yung mga dirty work, and for me, yung center spot is the last line of defense. So having somebody like Bill Russell there, protecting the paint, malaking bagay yun eh.
Bill Russell on center. Coach Cholo's first five on center. On starting position ng center, Bill Russell.
No.
Power forward, number 4.
Ako, power forward for me. I think power forward, para naman I can compete in today's game. Si Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh.
He could space out the floor at the 4 spot. He could instantly score. He can play in a lot of spots on the floor, on the post, mid-post. Stretch the floor out in the 3-point area. So, malaking bagay yun eh.
Would you call him, or does he qualify as a stretch 4? Okay. Is he a classic stretch 4?
He's a classic. He started yung I think he started, same with Tony Kukoc. Si Dirk Nowitzki talaga yung showed us that the different dimension na ang big guy can really play from outside.
Ito ang 4 na gusto mo, di ba? So, you have Russell, Bill Russell, and then Dirk Nowitzki. Sino tres mo, coach? Malakas ang laban to, coach, ha?
Ako, 3 guard ko. I think 3 guard, yung strength and yung tenacity. I think it's Michael Jordan. Pwede ko siya ilagay sa 3 spot. Okay? So, kaya ako nilagay si Bill Russell doon, tsaka si Dirk Nowitzki doon, versus to stretch out the floor si Dirk para for penetrations ni MJ. And then he's the greatest scorer of all time. So hindi ko na kailangan score si Bill Russell, andun si MJ.
At meron ko pang 4 na .0 rin.
Kayang mag-space ng floor para pag penetrate, hindi masyado makaka-help yung mga bigs.
So, Jordan, Nowitzki, Russell. Sino kaya dos ni Coach Cholo?
Siyempre si Kobe Bryant.
Kobe. Alright.
Si Kobe kasi, compared to, siyempre pareho sila ni MJ, pero I think si Kobe Bryant is more skilled on the post. Mas yung footwork ni Kobe mas maganda compared to MJ. Yung athleticism ni MJ is greater than Kobe, pero si Kobe is more craftier on his moves. I think he's a smarter player than MJ. He can read more kasi nga hindi siya ganun ka-athletic compared to MJ. He's more of a hindi man higher basketball IQ, but smarter in terms of yung how to attack a defense. Dahil nga hindi siya ganun ka-athletic as MJ.
Coach, having said that, having heard it from you, I realized, I think totoo yan kasi hindi nga siya kasing galing. Pero grabe yung pag-aaral niya sa game no?
Nakaka-read if you're looking at their games, Si MJ minsan kayang talunan na yung mga tao at any
Correct.
point in time. Si Kobe naman, if he sets up a player, kailangan niya para makapunta siya sa susunod
Yes.
move niya eh. Kasi
Correct.
hindi kaya talunan yung mga tao lang that MJ would do. So,
Correct.
he's more of a smarter player for him. So, kung magkakaroon ako ng defender na, and these two guards are very good defenders. So hindi ko na kailangan dumepensa si Dirk Nowitzki that much kasi nandun naman si Bill Russell eh. So si Kobe tsaka si MJ are good perimeter
Ang hirap
defenders.
pumasok dun, Coach. Sa
Oo.
dalawang yun.
Oo.
So,
Yan.
Bill Russell, Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Malakasan to. Sino kaya ang gwardiya na magpa-facilitate sa apat na yan, Coach, para sa'yo?
Ako si John Stockton.
Oh.
Si John Stockton is really a facilitator for me. He's also a very good defender. Tapos he's a pass first point guard. He leads the assist in the NBA until now. So makikita mo yung willingness na to facilitate, willingness na to pass the ball, especially if MJ and Kobe is gonna be there, or si Dirk Nowitzki is gonna be there. Somebody penetrating, kicking out the ball dun sa mga tao na yun, or placing them in the right positions where they can score. Si John Stockton, I think, would do a very good job with that.
Coach, so you have your first five. Sinong sixth man mo?
A six-man ko, si Scottie Pippen.
Oh, okay. Who would he be replacing?
Si Scottie Pippen kasi is parang a utility guy. So, if kulang ka sa 4 with the defense, pwedeng naman si Dirk Nowitzki. If John Stockton's not really playing well, he can play the point also.
Alright.
Diba? Pagka si Kobe, hindi masyadong makadepensa, pwede mo siya ilagay doon. So, more of a utility guy si Scottie Pippen eh. Kung ano yung problema.
Anywhere, no?
Kung ano yung problema, he could fill in a spot and play that spot very well.
Coach, will this first five and your sixth man, will they be playing a run and gun? Or triangle or what? Para sa'yo, anong i-employ mong sistema dyan pagdating sa opensa?
Ako, for me, of course, run and gun game. Kasi having good finishers, katulad ni MJ tsaka ni Kobe, and also yung John Stockton as facilitating it, and then doing a triangle offense, I think would be very well kasi Bill Russell is a good passer, and then Dirk Nowitzki can go outside the 3-point line to space out the floor. Sila Kobe and MJ will be on the post para they would be facilitating yung scoring options ng offense. So, I think triangle kasi mas mabibigyan ng options lahat eh. Pag wala nang nangyari, madali na mag-ball screen si John Stockton. Tsaka si Dirk Nowitzki or si Bill Russell pag wala nang nangyari.
There you have Coach Cholo's first 5 and 6th man. Grabe, parang ilang championships ang makukuha mo dyan, Coach, kahit isang liga ka maglaro.
Rami.
Alright. Coach, going back, sa coaching mo sa women's basketball sa UAAP, ano yung most memorable game mo? Na could have been a won game, could have been a lost game, pero hanggang ngayon, okay yung game na yun ah. Which one?
Ako yung game 1 of the finals. I forgot what year that was, pero we were up by 3 against NU in a championship game 1.
3 seasons ago. I think that was 3 seasons ago. I saw that game.
Okay, ayun. 3 seasons ago,
Yeah.
we were leading the first half, mga 10, 10 to 12 points. Then they came back third quarter. They led us mga 11 points then. And then we came back leading them by 3. Mga 1 minute to go. And then we were leading 3. And then they shot a 3-point shot to tie the game. Tie the game ata. Or, tapos we went into overtime or they won the game already. So I can't really remember. Pero I was yung shot na yan was is still vivid with me. Kasi it was the first chance na we can beat that team eh. Kasi they were coming from a long layoff.
Yes.
Kami, we were fighting in the semis against UE to get into the championship eh. So it was a memorable game kasi we almost had it, and I think na if we won that first game, it was going to be a difference in the series. So sayang lang, pero
I was lucky enough na inabutan ko yung larong yun on TV, Coach.
okay.
And the word to describe how I felt after watching you lose that game, the word was sayang.
Sayang talaga.
Because, yeah, you were up.
Okay.
I wasn't sure kung anong oras, but I'm sure it was in the last 2 minutes or lesser. Kaya lalong sayang eh. And then, I asked one of the coaches in UAAP women's basketball. She also said, sayang yon, coach.
Sayang yun. Sayang talaga yun.
And then, the second game was, hindi ko alam, nanlata na players mo eh.
Wala na. Second game, Yung first game kasi, we were confident na kayang talunin yun eh. Pero, pagdating ng second game, parang nagkabaliktad eh. We were complacent na we can compete with this team. And then yung mga small details of the game just went out. Because thinking na we can compete with any game that we're going to play. Pero again, hindi pwedeng ganun. Going up against one of the champion teams, one of the champion programs in the women's division,
yes.
Hindi ka pwedeng mag-relax even a second. Kundi capitalize on it. Eh.
There's a reason why until now, unbeaten yung run nila, no?
They're a very good program. Sila yung UConn dito sa Pilipinas eh. Pero again, we're still there to compete. And eventually we'll get our goal.
Correct. I wanted to ask you something. Coach, anong masasabi mo sa sa mga nag-overseas ngayon, ng mga Pinoy ballers? How do you think this will impact the Pro League in the Philippines? And how do you think this will favor our professional basketball players?
I think it's a good thing for us na kinukuha ng as imports our local players. It's not bad for the league. I think it's good for the league kasi first we'll raise the level of play if these players come back to the PBA. And also, yung PBA then would do something to entice these players to stay here in the Philippines. Eh. So, it's a good, positive thing for both sides. It's good for basketball, especially dito sa Pilipinas.
That's good to hear. One of the coaches see it as favorable, no? For both. For the Pro League and for the Pinoy ballers. Let's get into MPBL. Para sa mga hindi nakakaalam, I think Coach Cholo holds the longest winning streak in the MPBL. Tama ba?
Last year, I had a 15-game winning streak. And so, I think hindi pa naman siya
nabubura.
Nabibeat. So,
alright.
I'm still holding the longest record for the longest winning streak dito.
Yung 15-game winning streak na yun, ilang buwan yun? Or ilang linggo?
months. It spanned months kasi mahaba yung liga na yun eh. So yung MPBL, I think we have games na mga every 2 weeks.
Oh.
Game kami and then 2 weeks and then we have a game. So it's a very, very long distance from one game to another. Kaya ikaw as a coach, I'm proud of that record kasi mentally it's draining to be consistent for the whole season, especially if you're playing. Ang record ko na was 21-4 for 25 games for the whole year. Medyo grueling mentally yun and physically. Pero me and my coaching staff found a way to get our players interested in practices, their habits to be consistent from our first game until our last game that we played. And then not getting parang hindi na bore yung players every time we go to practice. The intensity was the same. Yung culture na nabuo ko doon, it showed with that winning streak.
Congrats dun sa record mo, ha. Now, question, ilang taon ka na nag-coach sa Makati?
I just resigned there. The coach there mga 2 years din.
Were you the first coach ng Makati?
I was the first coach of Makati. And itong MPBL naman had 2 seasons pa lang.
Okay.
So, I was the coach then and then I resigned mga towards the end of the year. Last year, mga December. And then yung Pampanga picked me up after I resigned.
Kumusta naman ang Lanterns, coach? Ano yung nadadala mong values from your stint sa Sky Crunch to Lanterns? And they picked you for a reason. They'll be able to use you for so many things and learn from you. Ano yung mga dala-dala mo dyan?
First, si Coach Bong kasi was coaching in the PBA. So, coming into his first season in the MPBL, he knew that it was a different game. Medyo nagsastruggle yung Pampanga Lanterns before. They weren't really struggling that bad, pero they were struggling a bit. Kasi it's a different game from the PBA and the MPBL. MPBL kasi is more of a college game na it's a run and gun game. The PBA is more a slow down game, setup game, deliberate game. Yung MPBL kasi is more of it's a run and gun game, faster game. So I think I helped Coach Bong with that aspect, yung telling him what are the things that could work here, as I've been with the league for 2 years, and then what things na I think na wouldn't work. But most of the time, it was more of more of the defensive schemes. That's why they got me. Showing different ball screen defenses or half-court defenses na pwede, pressing defense. That's why they got me, especially going towards their playoff run. I think that I helped them in that aspect.
Coach, ano yung routines mo before a game as a coach? Meron ka bang mga ritual dyan na baka yung mga beginning coaches ma-pick up at maging next Cholo Villanueva?
Ako, no special ritual naman. The biggest thing that I do is, syempre, I watch the games of my opponents, create scouting reports for the players, and then watch yung rotations ng kalaban, watch the defenses or offensive plays ng kalaban. And then most of the time during game days, I still watch in the car.
Ball is life, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
parang habang kasi especially in the MPBL, medyo malalayo yung mga
Oh, yes.
venues.
Yes.
So, in traffic, I still review the game tapes of the opponents that I would have that night para fresh in my mind
Nice.
na if they do this kind of scenario, ito yung pwede kong gawin. So that refreshes my mind, especially parang if you have a test, you
Yes.
review for the test,
Correct.
and then pagdating ng game time, yun na yung sasagutan mo na yung exam mo.
Correct.
And you're going to think na if you remember the things na pinag-aralan mo and then eventually apply them properly in the game. So para sa akin ganun, it's like taking a test
Correct.
and applying yung what you reviewed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I keep saying ball is life, but it also shows us the hard work that is put into coaching. Di ba, Coach?
Oo.
Ano it never ends.
Oo, yung coaching kasi for me, ano siya you have different hats for it.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a tactician, you can be a counselor, you can be a father, a brother,
Motivator.
educator. So,
Correct.
yung iba iniisip na coaching is easy. Hindi kasi first it's a 24/7 job kasi hindi naman tumitigil yung trabaho mo when your practices stop. It's more of a after practices, what are you going to prepare for the next day? Meron kayong lesson plans na ginagawa. You have a annual calendar also para may curriculum for the whole year na you follow. So coach tapos ano rin and then it's a very hard profession kasi yung mga CEOs, yung mga presidents or directors of a company can make decisions in a span of months or days.
Yes.
Pero tayong mga coaches, you need to make a decision in 1 minute. For example, on timeouts, you need to get a decision or create a solution in 1 minute. So ako nga lagi ko sinasabi na in 1 minute, in a timeout, kailangan maraman mo yung problema and then find the solution and then how to apply yung sagot in 1 minute.
And you're not just talking to one person.
You're not talking to one person. But then, yung decision making mo should be quick kasi it could be a difference. That could be the difference in the game if you make that wrong decision in a very short span of time.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, what coaching is all about. Gusto niyo pa ba mag-coach? Let's move on to isa sa malapit sa puso ko, Coach. Cholo Camp.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us something first? What is Cholo Camp all about?
Cholo Camp is a product of I was a personal trainer when I was playing. I was handling mga one-on-one trainings. Merong mga players who would get me in high school or grade school na wants to train one-on-one. So I actually had clients na I had them for so many years, knowing what, for example, if a 4-year-old can do a crossover or a 8-year-old can do a between the legs, pagka 9 years old, kaya naman behind the back. Kasi nga, it was a product of all the experiences that I have in my personal training. So, when I started yung Cholo Camp, I first made a program na, for example, at this age, dapat ito yung nagagawa ng bata, or at this age, kailangan ito na yung skill niya. So it came from experience. So it's a product of all the teachings that I've done. And until now, it's an evolving program. You were part of it. makikita mo naman na at the start of the training program, there are booklets na you're going to review. Tapos that's what you're going to
Yes.
do for the day. And
Yes.
then usually I hold my coaches trainings before before the camps, teaching my coaches mga teaching strategies, not just the program itself. So ngayon, it's been running for about 6 years now.
Okay. 6
Uh,
years old na pala.
and we're doing pretty well until now. During this pandemic, I created another program online kasi hindi pwede yung luma kong program. So I evolved my program that would cater to online trainings.
And online needs, no?
And
Ayan.
online trainings na pwedeng gawin ng mga bata even they're at home. But most important is I'm working on the micro skills ng mga bata. Meaning before they shoot the ball, ano yung mga proper footwork, or for example, what are the proper dribbling details, yung mga ganyan. Kasi most of the time, pagka nasa camps naman, yung mga bata is more of eager to shoot the ball. So ngayon, they don't have a chance to shoot the ball.
Correct.
There's more chances to learn, more time to learn the really fundamentals of the game kasi they're not distracted of making the shot. They're more keen to doing the things before making yung shots. That's why I think one of the positive things that came out from this pandemic in my camps was they're really learning the details of the game. Kasi kaya nga yung pag-shoot yung importante. Ngayon, paano gawin yung bago ka shumut. So, yun naman na natututunan ng mga bata during this time.
Coach, before this pandemic, no? So, okay, you have your online camp now, which is really addressing the needs of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Before this pandemic, saang branches ka na or location makakapag-enroll ang mga batang gusto mag-enroll sa Cholo Camp?
We had several locations. We had CSA Bulacan, CSA Makati. We had also yung De La Salle Laguna. And then we also have yung adult camp, which happens in Pasay. So there we had several places that we hold camps.
Nakita ko I saw. Coach, ilan ang coaches / teachers mo sa camp?
Usually it's about mga 10 or 12 coaches in the camp. We have 4 levels. We have yung basic, intermediate, advanced, and competitive. And then for example, each level has mga 2 to 3 coaches in them. And then mostly about mga 15 players or less than in one level. So yung ratio niya is about 1:4 or 1:5 coaches to student ratio.
When I was there, Coach, I saw the younger the kids are, mas marami kang coaches na nilalagay. Plus, mind you guys sa mga nanonood, yung mga coaches niya are teachers also. I got to interview those coaches. They're teachers also. And had at one time been players also. So, kaya nga, Coach, when I told you na one of the best camps that I've been to,
Thank you.
I was really basing it from my personal observation.
Thank you.
Where can they, Coach, if they want more information, where can they reach you?
They can reach me at my Cholo Camp Facebook page. You can easily type Cholo Camp and search for it. And then lalabas yung page ko doon. And then we have several programs lined up we're having a program now. Our last program in the summer, we had three summer programs this summer. Starting from the first, I think first week of April nag-start kami. It was a dribbling and ball handling camp. And then the second season was about shooting form and offensive footwork. And then this season 3, which is ongoing until mga the second week of July, it's about dribble and attack camp. So it really develops the player holistically, from ball handling to shooting form, and then until yung offensive footworks. And then we have a program coming up after this one that's for the school year. That's about mga August. So we will post yung mga announcements na yan on our Facebook page. So if you want to learn the proper fundamentals of the game and na creating good habits with your micro skills na we need to develop, you can check out our Facebook page, Cholo Camp Facebook.
Alright. Coach, konti na lang ha.
Sige.
Ang dami ko natututunan sa'yo. Alright. Coach, sa dami ng, again, from the very start, sa dami ng ginagawa mo, eh baka naman no more time for love. Meron ba, Coach?
Ay, yeah, meron, siyempre. That's one of the priorities.
Alright.
Siyempre. I'm happily married now for 8 years now with my wife, si Agnes Villanueva. He was our sports courtside reporter then sa La Salle in 2002. And then we've been a team building our dreams together. So you can't be successful without the support of your loved ones. And she's been a great teammate, great wife and partner in life. That's why I've accomplished so many things in coaching and in playing because of her unconditional support for my craft and my career.
Nice. Is she also involved in your camps and sports endeavors?
She's syempre para magkita kami during the weekend. Always in my camps. From registration to marketing, siya yung nag-handle niyan. That's why we're a very good team kasi I handle the content. She handles the packaging. So it's a 1-2 combination. It's been working for six years now.
Ganda naman. So who says you can't mix leisure with a business? Ang ganda na Coach, para magkita kami sa weekend. I like that. All right. Coach Cholo, here at Sunday Shootout, we shoot our guests with questions. And you have to answer them na mabilis.
Okay.
First word comes to mind, answer. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Recruitment or development?
Development.
Why?
Kasi for me, developing kids when they're in their developmental stages, you can mold them into the players that you want them to be. Compared to recruitment, you don't know the backgrounds of these kids. They may be talented, but you don't know their character. But if you mold them into the right character players that you want, it's much more easier. Pero much more longer. So more patience na kailangan.
College basketball or professional basketball?
College basketball.
Why?
Again, it's more of developmental. Again, I'm more of a teacher. Yung pros kasi they're made players. That's why you don't need to develop them anymore. Pero for me, college players are much better fit for me kasi again, I want to teach kids. I want to mold them into be better individuals. And,
Most difficult part of coaching ladies basketball?
uh, most difficult part siguro sometimes yung you're guessing kung hanggang saan yung threshold nila. Kasi unlike with the men's team, I'm a guy, so alam ko yung okay, pag sinabi ko hanggang dito talaga tayo kasi kaya ko tong gawin eh. So, or nagawa ko to eh. But for the women's team, sometimes you still gauge their threshold kung hanggang saan sila. Kasi obviously, hindi ko alam kung hanggang saan talaga kasi hindi naman ako babae. Pero yun lang yung sometimes am I pushing them too much or is it just enough? Dahil sometimes you don't really know until kung hanggang saan yung hangganan talaga nila eh.
Most challenging part of coaching in a developmental basketball league like Misaa?
For me, most challenging is keeping them interested. Especially yung kids natin in Beacon International School, they have lots of things to do. They have other things that they can do.
And allowed to do.
And are allowed to do. So keeping them interested to come to practices and play basketball, I think that's the most challenging for me sa Misa. But again, during game time, winning the games, and then I won a championship with them also in I think the previous years. Very fulfilling naman kasi knowing that some of them have came from zero skills,
Yes.
and eventually seeing them mature, even the players na, for example, I handled them for their first year and then got with me about mga 2 years, and then seeing them from being the last player on the bench and then eventually being the star players of that team. Very fulfilling kasi you know where they came from and you know na you develop them into the players that they are at that point.
Worst experience you have had from another coach? You don't need to name names.
Worst experience?
Or a situation?
Yung worst experience, maybe siguro yung when we made the shot, I think yung other team made the shot and then we were down and we were down so much and then the other team scored even though na they won the game already. Yun lang. Pero I don't take yung masyado nagtatampo sa mga other coaches. Pag talo ka eh. So,
correct.
pag panalo, talo ka rin.
Correct. Are you one of those coaches na ayaw na humihingi ng timeout with a sure win na on his part and last 1 minute? Are you one of those coaches who takes offense or you let it go?
Ako naman, I was in that situation for a reason. So, for example, natambakan ka and then the other coach calls a timeout. I don't take offense that much kasi hindi naman ako lamang eh. So, kung ako yung napunta sa sitwasyon na yun eh. If I wasn't in that kind of situation, hindi naman ako parang ma-offend kasi ako yung sarili ko yung napunta ko dun eh.
Okay.
So, sa akin, if I wasn't in that situation, hindi ko naman ma-feel yun eh.
Right. What's the most exciting part of your job as a coach?
Ako yung most exciting part is seeing my kids develop into better individuals. Like for me, in the women's basketball arena, there are really no professional leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing them from first year going into La Salle, and then seeing them graduate, and then them getting jobs, making a better life for their families. Yun ang pinakamalaking fulfillment for me. In coaching kasi we don't get really high salaries. But what we can is give these kids opportunities for them to have better lives. Kaya nga ako yung coaching ko, marami kasi one job would not suffice for your whole your whole
Needs,
life.
no? Yeah.
So kailangan marami kang racket para ma-sustain mo yung gusto mong lifestyle, and then using basketball as a platform to help these kids to be better individuals. And then also, even for my MPBL team, mga professional teams ko, um, seeing them na get their salaries and doing business, and then getting better lives for their families. Yun naman yung fulfillment ko sa mga semi-pro teams ko. And again, coaching is a parang an unselfish profession, a selfless profession na it's all about giving. It's all about sharing your knowledge, giving others opportunities to have a better life. And then eventually, if you feel yun yung contentment mo and you're very happy with that, as long as nakakain ka ng maayos sa araw-araw, okay na yun, contented ka na eh.
Tama. Coach, last question for our shootout. What do you wish people to remember you?
Ako, what I wish lang is for people to remember me as a very straightforward coach, straightforward guy, very honest guy, a guy who gave a lot of people opportunities to make a good life for themselves. And then I want people to remember me as a teacher.
There you have it, Coach Cholo for Sunday Shootout. But before we go, Coach Cholo, final message for our viewers, for your players, former, current, and future.
For me, let's use our talents to give us a better opportunity to help ourselves and help our families to have better lives. And let's not waste yung opportunity that's given to us and the talents that are given to us. And of course, everything, every goal or everything that you want to achieve comes from hard work. And let's not be contented until we get our goals, until we achieve all the things that we want for ourselves and for our families.
Thank you very much, Coach Cholo. Salamat for joining us. This has been Coach Francis with Coach Cholo, your Sunday Shootout, your Sunday afternoon kwentuhan with ordinary people doing extraordinary work. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.